Everyone thought that this was going to be a walk-away win for the Dolphins, so shout out to the Panthers there getting it done. If we go from bad to worse, the Jets, man, like we all thought that this was going to be completely different under Aaron Glenn. Instead, we're looking at a Jets squad that is 0-5. The last time a coach performed this poorly to open the season was Adam Gase back in 2020, and we all know how that ended up. Pete, I know you wanted to talk about the coaching specifically here because, again, we were all really excited to see what Aaron Glenn could do with his former team. What's not been working?
Well, they're sloppy. They're one of the sloppiest teams I've seen in a long, long time. They have pre-snap penalties. They don't tackle. I mean, the tackling is horrible. They lead the league in missed tackles, and that's usually a sign of want to. If if you make mistakes, that's okay. If you're not physically good enough, that's okay. If you don't tackle well, that means you don't have the want to and the desire to go out there and do it. And so when I see that, I say penalties, don't have desire to play, and guys are missing tackles all over the place, and guys haven't improved. When you see a coach come in and the team doesn't improve, particularly the defensive side of the ball, he's made his bones on the defensive side of the ball. He was a hell of a defensive player. Mm-hmm. He was a feisty, tough defensive player. There's nothing feisty or tough about his defense right now, and that's the biggest concern about the Jets.
I thought his biggest cornerstone piece of this defense was going to be Sauce Gardner, and something that you just said, Pete Prisco, none of these players are getting better. I have not seen Sauce Gardner improve as a corner since he got to the league. I still see bad technique at times. I still see him being handsy, grabbing receivers, and to all of Pete's point, if your number one corner that you just paid a boatload of money to can't cover, well, what does that say? When even your best player has to play well at some point to give you a fighting chance or give you a hope that maybe the talent that you have at least can maybe get you out of some certain situations. But we saw George Pickens take the top off on Sauce Gardner. Kind of like, go ahead, show Haley. She getting her little,
I was doing my Rand dance earlier. We're going to talk about the Cowboys in a second, so I'm holding my tongue.
But again, in totality, they look poorly coached. Their best players aren't playing very well. And when coaches aren't coaching well, players aren't playing well, you're 0-5, just like the Jets are.
It's tough. It is tough, especially when you think about the history as well with the Jets. They've been trying to get this playoff situation under control too, so a lot to monitor.
Well, the other thing is we went into the season thinking we'd have to worry. Maybe Justin Fields can just manage the game because the defense will be so good. They'll be able, and the running game will be good, and they'll be able to sneak their way into the postseason. No, he wasn't awful today. The defense has been awful.
It is tough. I don't feel that bad because, as you saw from my dance, the Dallas Cowboys getting it done. And I know I'm going to sound like a homer when I say this, guys.
You are. It's all right.
But Dak Prescott, my nose is running here. Dak Prescott is playing at an all-time, I know, I'm sorry,
yes.
Damien, at an all-time caliber level right now. He's got this offense rolling around. Oh, my God. LOL. I'm over here talking about
I'll play.
But it's hard when you look at the record, you look at this team, and you look at the second half of the schedule. But Dak specifically, guys, how are we feeling? I mean, this is really special stuff from him this year.
I said this the other day when we were on, and I said he's been one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in this league. 2 years ago, when he was healthy and played the whole season, he led the league in touchdown passes. And yet everybody questions him all the time. He's one of the most scrutinized, questioned quarterbacks in this league, and all he does is go out and make plays. You look at him, 4 touchdown passes today. I mean, he was phenomenal.
And to everyone, Jay Ferguson, the running back, Javonte Williams.
And he's just comfortable. He looks comfortable in the offense. And there, by the way, we're talking about a team that's playing behind a banged-up offensive line. Across the board, they're banged up. So I give him a lot of credit. He's carrying this team right now. And you're right. You look at their schedule. Right now, they're in a little soft lull here. And maybe they can win a couple games and get back into this thing. I think when you look at it, offensively, they're good. Defensively, they're getting better. They had 5 sacks today. 5.
Just like Jerry Jones predicted, huh? They're going to get better on defense.
Well, he's not wrong, that man.
He's not wrong.
What I want to say is, I mean, we can talk ad nauseum about Dak. Like, he's the MVP of the National Football League right now. And I think something that is helping this Cowboys team just as much as Dak Prescott has got to be Javonte Williams. And I've hammered this point. Since he has joined the Cowboys, since he has found a new home, it's like he has unlocked a level of potential that we might not have known that he even had. I mean, another game with 135 yards and a touchdown. And what I love about Javonte Williams isn't just the numbers as far as yards or touchdowns, but it's the amount of carries that he's getting. They trust him. They see him as a workhorse back, and they see him as that guy that can be the steady pace whenever the pass game may or may not be clicking. Obviously, it is right now, but they've got a run game where they can just run at people, direct, downhill, call and run it. They don't have to tag RPOs with it. They don't have to fake here and then throw a bubble out there. They can just line up with Javonte Williams and run right at you and give you body blows
It
throughout
always
the game.
goes to the running backs for you too, doesn't it?
It just makes sense.
What, you want me to just keep talking about Dak? Like,
Actually, yeah.
I said he's the MVP. What
Talk
do you want?
about Jake
What do you want from me? Huh? What do y'all want from me?
Talk about George Pickens also while we're here.
What I was going to say about Javonte was the same thing. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. And you talk about that, I think it was the end of the half run where you're just trying to run it out there, and then he pops one for 66, and then you get points to end the half, which allows you to lap. I think they scored 20 points in the second quarter alone, and that really gave them, a big bump. But remind me again why we hate Dak Prescott so much.
Because of the star that's on his helmet.
That's exactly
when
right,
he's
because
healthy
of Jerry Jones.
and he's in the lineup and he's playing, you're going to get 9 to 10 wins. Now, what they do in the postseason.
Well, that's why people criticize him.
But in order to have a record in the postseason, you have to get there. And there are a ton of quarterbacks that we love and we praise and we give all this credit to that don't get to the postseason. But Dak Prescott, when he's in the lineup, he gets to the postseason, but yet he is the most scrutinized guy that's out there. Now, the one guy I want to talk about who seems to really have found a home for himself within this offense is Jake Ferguson. He is getting the ball. Like, the numbers aren't gaudy, but I think he has 7 catches a day, 2 touchdowns. You go back to last week or a couple weeks ago, we were joking, like, this guy needs some rest. He needs a vet day off because he was thrusting into the line. Felt like he played both sides of the ball and all the snaps on special teams. But this offense has found their way. And like Pete said, they don't have all their offensive linemen and they're mix and matching guys around. But with Dak back there behind center, it's the calming presence. And again, we talked about it with Tampa when Mike Evans is back, and then you got Chris Godwin back, and then now with Micah in the lineup, what is that going to look like? I'm interested to see what is it going to look like when CD is back, because now George Pickens is getting rolling, and now Jake Ferguson is going to be a big part of that short to intermediate passing game. Oh, and they finally have a threat to turn around and hand to it, Javonte Williams. What is this offense going to look like when they get all their weapons back?
At Carolina, Washington at home next 2 weeks. I mean, you look at it, they could get the 4-2-1.
Let's be honest.
They come back from the bye and they take on the Raiders.
Right.
The fate of the Cowboys right now, the fate of their season is on this defense.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on the defense. You mentioned Jake Ferguson. The reason why he's playing better, Rand, is because he's getting married. He's got a nice little fiance at the house, keeping it in
He liked it and put a ring on it.
Happy wife, happy life.
What's up, Cowboys Nation? It's your boy Victor, back here on Dallas Cowboys Today. And let me tell you right now, Jerry Jones might be cooking something huge again. Multiple NFL executives are linking the Dallas Cowboys to a blockbuster trade for one of the league's most consistent and violent pass rushers, Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Trey Hendrickson who's been terrorizing quarterbacks for the last few years could be wearing the star real soon. But before we break it all down, do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button if you want to see this defense get back to its dominant self, and subscribe if you bleed blue and silver. Because we've got a lot to unpack. So here's what's going down. The Cincinnati Bengals are in absolute chaos right now. They've been outscored 113-37 since losing Joe Burrow to that turf toe injury, and reports say he'll miss at least the next 3 months. That means the Bengals are basically cooked, and when a team hits that kind of free fall, they start selling off assets. Now, according to multiple executives around the league, Dallas is one of the top teams to watch if the Bengals decide to move Trey Hendrickson before the trade deadline. This is a guy who's playing on a 1-year, $30 million contract, and if Cincinnati's season is already slipping away, it just makes too much sense for them to deal him now and get something back. Cowboys Nation, let's be real for a second. Our pass rush hasn't been the same since the Micah Parsons trade. Losing Micah created a domino effect. Through the first 5 games of this season, the Cowboys defense ranks dead last in the NFL, giving up 412 yards per game. Let that sink in. 32nd in total defense. We've only managed 10 sacks all season. 10, that's tied for the bottom 5 in the league. And this was a defense that used to lead the NFL in pressures and takeaways. You can literally see how much we miss Micah's disruption. When Micah was on the field, guys like Deron Bland and Trevin Diggs could gamble more. They jumped routes, baited quarterbacks, and that's why Bland led the NFL in pick sixes. Now, quarterbacks have all day to throw. They're testing Bland deep, and Diggs, coming off that knee injury, just doesn't have the same burst. So if you want to fix that instantly, you go get Trey Hendrickson. Let's talk about Hendrickson for a second. Since 2023, he's logged 39 sacks. That's top 5 in the league over that stretch. This year alone, he's already got 4 sacks in 5 games. He's not slowing down. The guy's relentless, plays every snap like it's his last. High motor, violent hands, perfect for Dan Quinn's front 7 scheme. Imagine this: Kenny Clark clogging the middle, Hendrickson screaming off the edge, and a young group of linebackers getting free looks at the quarterback because of it. That's what we need. And don't forget what Jerry Jones promised when he traded Micah Parsons, that the cap space we saved and those extra first-round picks would be used to keep this roster competitive. So far, he's kept that word. Adding Kenny Clark was step 1. Trey Hendrickson could be step 2. Now, let's talk numbers because you know Jerry loves his math when it comes to the cap. Hendrickson's making $30 million this year. Big chunk, yeah, but Dallas has flexibility now after not having to pay that Micah Parsons extension. And look, if Jerry wants to make a splash before this Super Bowl window closes, this is exactly the kind of move he needs to make. Dak Prescott is 31, coming off a major injury, and we can't afford another wasted season. You bring in Hendrickson, lock him down with a 3-year extension, and suddenly that defense looks scary again. Cowboys Nation, we all felt the sting when Micah was traded, but it's time to move forward. Adding Trey Hendrickson wouldn't just replace Micah, it would send a message to the locker room that this front office still believes in winning right now. And with how open the NFC looks, the Eagles are beatable, the 49ers are inconsistent. We've got a real chance to make a run. This could be that one bold move that turns things around. Oh, and before I forget, former Cowboy Rico Dowdle is talking trash ahead of Sunday's matchup with the Panthers. The man just dropped 206 yards and a touchdown against the Dolphins. Career game for him. And now he's saying the Cowboys better buckle up. Dowdle told ESPN, "They didn't keep me for 5 years for no reason." So yeah, revenge game incoming. But if Dallas's front 7 doesn't wake up, Dowdle might actually have a point. So let me throw it to you, Cowboys Nation. If you were Jerry Jones, would you pull the trigger and trade for Trey Hendrickson? Would you give up one of those first rounders we got from the Packers? Or would you stay patient and try to build from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. I'm reading every single one. And if you want to see Dallas get aggressive again, hit that like button so Jerry hears us loud and clear. Bottom line, the Cowboys have the picks, they have the money, and they have the motivation. Trey Hendrickson could be the spark this defense desperately needs. Stay tuned, because if this thing gets real, you know Dallas Cowboys Today will be the first to break it down for you. This is Victor, your diehard Cowboys fan, signing off, and as always, go Cowboys!